All right, let's jump right in, folks. Ready for a deep dive into the world of Samuel Eto'o?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
We've got his biography here, some articles covering some recent events, and we'll even touch on
Oh,
his vision for the future of football in Cameroon.
cool.
So we're talking about more than just goals and trophies, right? We're going beyond that. Trying to understand the man, the challenges he's faced, and what his journey can teach us about resilience, leadership, all that good stuff.
It's a fascinating story because it's not your typical, rags to riches kind of thing.
Right.
Imagine starting out playing football
Yep.
on the dusty streets of Douala, Cameroon, a
Ooh.
world away from the Camp Nou.
Oh, yeah.
And that's exactly what Eto'o did. His rise is anything but a fairy tale.
It really makes you appreciate the dedication, the raw talent it takes to reach that level.
Absolutely.
But it wasn't just about making it to Europe, was it? It was about conquering one of the toughest leagues in the world, becoming a key part of one of Barcelona's most successful eras.
Absolutely. We're not going to just list off his stats and goals, though. We want to understand what made him
Right.
so special as a player. That incredible speed, clinical finishing, his ability to work with his teammates to create those magic moments on the pitch.
You can't talk about Eto'o without mentioning that nickname, right?
Oh, yeah.
The Indomitable Lion. That's not just a cool nickname.
No.
It perfectly captures his playing style, his spirit.
Yeah. That fierceness, that never give up attitude.
Always pushing forward.
And that spirit wasn't confined to the pitch either. It carried over into his leadership,
Yeah.
both as a player inspiring his teammates and someone who's deeply invested in improving Cameroonian football.
Okay, so that brings us to some recent news that's been making headlines. Eto'o's 6-month suspension by FIFA.
Yeah,
Now, this isn't about his playing days, right?
exactly.
So this suspension is related to his role as president of FECAFOOT. I gotta be honest, I'm not that familiar with how football governance works in Cameroon.
Sure. So FECAFOOT is basically the governing body for football in Cameroon, kind of like their FA. And, FIFA is the international governing body.
Right,
They
right.
don't just hand out suspensions lightly.
So what exactly did Eto'o do to get hit with such a serious penalty?
Well, FIFA is citing violations of their disciplinary code, specifically Articles 13 and 14, which
Right.
have to do with,
Okay.
things like conduct that damages the sport's reputation, going against fair play principles. It really gives you a glimpse into the behind-the-scenes world of international football and the challenges that Eto'o is facing in this leadership role.
So it makes you wonder, is that same indomitable spirit that made him such a force as a player now,
Yeah,
is it working against him as an administrator?
it's definitely a complex situation. And we see this complexity play out further in his recent clash with Cameroon's national team coach, Marc Bryce.
Really?
Yeah. Reports describe a pretty tense meeting, highlighting the kind of difficulties Eto'o is facing. Leading an organization like FECAFOOT,
Right.
it's a different ballgame compared to dominating on the pitch.
Yeah, like stepping into a whole new arena with different rules, different opponents.
Right.
It makes you think maybe those same instincts that served him so well as a player are now causing friction and conflict.
It's a possibility for sure.
So let's dig into this a bit more. You mentioned earlier that his path to success wasn't easy.
Oh, no.
What were some of the hurdles he had to overcome?
Well, there were many.
Yeah.
He faced racial abuse, professional setbacks, countless times when people doubted him.
That's tough to hear.
Oh, yeah.
Dealing with that kind of stuff off the pitch, on top of the pressure to perform at the highest level.
Absolutely. And it's really remarkable how he used those challenges as fuel.
Really?
Yeah, you can almost see that fire in his eyes. Every time someone doubted him, it just seemed to make him more determined.
Wow.
He had this burning desire to prove his critics wrong, and he did it in the best way possible, through his performance on the pitch.
Like every goal was a statement.
Exactly. Like, you doubted me. Watch this.
I love it.
That unwavering self-belief, that refusal to be defined by other people's perceptions, that's a huge part of what makes his story so compelling. That must have taken immense mental strength.
Do you think that was something he developed over time? Or was it always a part of who he was?
I think it's probably a bit of both, natural talent, determination.
Yeah.
But his experiences, the people he met along the way, they definitely shaped his mindset. Think about the impact of working with someone like Pep Guardiola at Barcelona.
Ah, Pep, a true legend. But I've heard their relationship wasn't always easy.
Yeah, they definitely had their disagreements. But, those clashes, even the tough ones, they probably played a part in shaping Eto'o as both a player and a leader.
I see.
It's like a reminder that growth often comes from navigating those challenging relationships.
Yeah.
Learning from people who push us outside our comfort zones.
That's a good lesson even for those of us who aren't world-class athletes, right?
Exactly. But it's important to remember that Eto'o's impact goes beyond the football field. He's very involved in charity work, trying to make a positive difference.
Oh, that's great.
It shows a depth of character that goes beyond just trophies and achievements. But let's get back to the future of Cameroonian football, because that's a big part of Eto'o's focus right now. He's so passionate about his country and wants to see them succeed on the world stage. He set some ambitious goals.
He has. I remember you mentioning something about creating a sustainable football structure in Cameroon.
He's all about developing young talent, improving facilities, good governance, building a system that can support future generations of Cameroonian players and lift the nation's standing in the global game.
That's a huge undertaking.
It is.
It's like he's trying to build a legacy.
It is. It's exactly that, a legacy. And restoring Cameroon's position in world football.
Right.
They were a powerhouse once. Remember, reaching the World Cup quarterfinals in 1990.
Yeah.
They captivated the world with their energy and style.
So he wants to bring that back.
He was to recapture that glory, bring Cameroon back to the top.
Using his experience, connections, everything he's learned.
Yep. The triumphs, the setbacks, even those lessons from mentors like Guardiola. Channeling it all into this new chapter as a leader. But as we've seen, leadership comes with its own challenges. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's where his story goes beyond just sports and connects with anyone who has a dream, faces challenges.
Right.
Anyone who wants to make a difference. Dreaming big, working hard, and never giving up.
Yeah.
Think about those early days in Cameroon. He had a vision, and he was willing to put in the work even when the odds were stacked against him.
And look at where it got him.
Exactly. It's a powerful message about resilience.
No matter what life throws at you, you can overcome it, bounce back, achieve great things.
That's right. And that's what's so inspiring about Eto'o's story. Yeah. It's a testament to the human spirit, our ability to persevere, to adapt, and to ultimately triumph. But it also brings up some interesting questions, doesn't it?
Like whether that relentless drive, that indomitable spirit, could it actually end up hindering his efforts to create real change in Cameroonian football?
Exactly. It's a fascinating and complex paradox that we'll dive into even further as we continue. It's almost like he needs to walk a tightrope.
Yeah.
He needs that determination, that drive to push through obstacles, but if there's too much of it, it could create unnecessary conflict.
The delicate balance.
Exactly. And that tension within Eto'o, between his drive and the need for diplomacy, that's what makes this chapter of his story so fascinating. Will he be able to harness that indomitable spirit, channel it in a constructive way, and actually achieve his goals for Cameroonian football? Or will that same fire that made him a legend, will it become his downfall?
You get like a real-life drama unfolding.
It is.
We see this in other areas of life too, don't we? Where someone's greatest strength, if it's not controlled, can become their biggest weakness.
Absolutely. And that's one of the key things we can learn from Eto'o's story. It's not just about the wins, the trophies.
It's about the journey.
Yeah, it's about that constant struggle to evolve, to adapt, to find that balance between passion and pragmatism.
It reminds us that even these larger-than-life figures like Samuel Eto'o, they're human.
They are. They face the same internal struggles, the doubts, the uncertainties, just like the rest of us.
Makes his story all the more relatable.
Exactly, and inspiring, too.
It tells us that success isn't linear.
Oh.
There are bumps, detours, wrong turns.
Absolutely. But what matters is getting back up.
Yeah.
Dusting yourself off and keep going. It's not about how hard you hit, but how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
That seems to be the core of Eto'o's journey.
It really is. He's been knocked down, criticized, doubted so many times. But that indomitable spirit, that refusal to give up, it's always been there. And now as he leads, as he faces the complexities of leadership, that spirit is going to be put to the ultimate test.
So there you have it. Our deep dive into the complex and captivating world of Samuel Eto'o.
A man of incredible talent.
Unwavering ambition.
And a legacy that's still being written.
It's a story that makes us think about our own lives, right?
It does.
Our dreams, our own resilience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What can we learn from his successes?
Yeah.
His challenges?
And as we watch his journey unfold,
the
big question, will that indomitable spirit lead to triumph or tragedy?
Good question.
We'll leave you with that thought.
Something to ponder.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep searching for those deeper insights.
Yeah, it really is a tightrope walk, isn't it?
It is.
Needing that drive to push through, but too much could cause problems.
Exactly. And, that's what makes this part of his story so interesting, this tension between his drive and the need to be more diplomatic,
Right.
Will he be able to control that spirit to make it something positive and achieve those goals for Cameroonian football? Or will that same fire that brought him so much success? Right.
Will it be what brings him down? It's a question we'll have to keep watching to find out the answer to.
It really does feel like one of those big, dramatic stories playing out in real life.
It does.
We see it happen all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
Someone's biggest strength becomes their biggest weakness if they're not careful.
It's true.
So what's the lesson here?
I think one of the key takeaways from Eto'o's story is that it's not all about the trophies and the wins.
Mm-hmm.
It's about constantly working on yourself, adapting.
Right.
Finding the right balance between passion and, being realistic and practical.
Yeah, and it's a good reminder that even these larger-than-life figures, like Samuel Eto'o,
right,
they're human, just like us.
They are, absolutely, facing the same doubts and struggles that we all do.
Exactly, makes his story all the more, inspiring and relatable.
It does, because success isn't this straight line upwards, is it?
Not at all. There are going to be those bumps in the road, wrong turns.
Absolutely. What matters is how you respond to them.
Get back up, keep moving.
Exactly. It's not about how hard you can hit, but how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
That really does seem to be the theme of his journey.
Doesn't it? He's been criticized and doubted at every stage of his career, but he always finds a way to come back stronger.
So now he's in this leadership role, and it seems like that's where his resilience is really going to be tested.
Yeah, it is.
Will that spirit be enough?
We'll see.
That brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of Samuel Eto'o.
An incredible talent.
Driven, ambitious.
His story isn't over yet.
And it makes us think about our own lives, right? What can we learn from his successes and his setbacks?
Exactly.
And the biggest question, will his determination be his salvation or his downfall?
Only time will tell.
A lot to think about. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. Until next time, keep exploring and keep questioning.